Welcome to the Omaha Science News Virus Report. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Allie, and we're at the University of Nebraska Medical Center. Let's learn about how scientists and researchers right here in Omaha are fighting to keep us all safe. We'll take a closer look at flu prevention, from testing protective equipment to simple hand washing. You'll find out what you can do to keep you and your friends healthy. The influenza virus, more commonly known as the flu, is a serious health issue that is often underestimated and often misunderstood. The flu is a virus that kills as many as 36,000 people in the U.S. each year. Others become ill with a variety of symptoms. The virus that causes influenza is a small particle that infects lung cells in the human body and is passed from one person to another. The symptoms usually are in the nose, throat, and lungs. How do you catch the influenza virus?
With very small nets. No, just joking. You catch the virus where you're exposed to the virus by somebody that's ill, somebody that's contagious, and say is sneezing or coughing. So you can get it by breathing it in. Like if you go to a store and the person in the aisle next to you sneezes, they might just now be getting ill. They're not quite ill enough to be home, and you're really, with most respiratory viruses, you're most contagious before you feel the worst. So that's how they're spread a lot of times, because people are still up and about doing things, and they're sneezing a little bit or sniffling a bit and passing it from person to person. You can also catch the virus by, say if they've sneezed or coughed, and they've covered their mouth and then they touch a door, and they put, now there may be some of the virus particles on that doorknob or something.
Pete Iwin and Tony Samble are scientists at the University of Nebraska Medical Center here in Omaha. They want everyone to stay healthy, but they also want to keep a severe flu outbreak from occurring.
Washing your hands is a key foundation to prevention. And of course there's other things you can think about: keeping yourself healthy, not eating the proper foods, not taking drugs or alcohol and things like that depress your immune system. Keeping a distance away from people that might be coughing and may be able to expose you. When you do cough, having a good cough etiquette, for instance, coughing into your sleeve like this, because then you're not exposing other people. So prevention works both ways. Keep yourself from getting it, but if you do have something that might be infectious, preventing you from spreading to other people.
More virus news later. First, let's take a look at the weather. The forecast for the upcoming flu season. We see a 5 to 20% chance of contracting the seasonal flu virus. That means in a typical freshman classroom, 1 to 6 of the students will come down with the flu. Remember, the flu season lasts from November to March each year, with cases peaking in February. When a new flu virus appears in multiple countries and patients become very ill, that's called a pandemic. If a pandemic occurs, there's a 30% chance of catching the flu strain going around. That's your look at the weather. Now it's time for this week's technology report. This looks like a simple mask that you can purchase at any hardware store here in Omaha. But are masks such as these really effective in keeping you from getting the flu?
What we're doing now is looking at these masks and challenging them with viruses, because that work has not been done, and we want to see if they will actually protect as well as they say they can against human viruses. So what we're doing with this apparatus is we'll take a mixture, kind of a liquid mixture of the virus we want to test. We'll put it into this container. It's called a Collison nebulizer. We will have air flow into this at a certain rate. It causes it to bubble into mist. It comes down through this container. It's mixed and twirled and swirled and everything. And then, depending upon what mask we're testing, and I happen to have an example of a mask here that we fit into this assembly and would be ready for testing. And then this whole assembly is put on here, and it would be tightened down.
Mr. Samble's mask research could be crucial in preventing a flu pandemic. Our crime scene report takes a closer look at pandemics.
A pandemic is basically a disease that is seen worldwide. Now, the World Health Organization has designated a pandemic as a disease that is found in multiple what are called World Health Organization regions. and 2 or more regions make a pandemic. So it is associated with a worldwide outbreak of a disease versus something like an epidemic, which is more localized. You've heard of epidemics within Omaha, for instance. So pandemic is a worldwide disease that's being transmitted from human to human. And we're talking about the ability to be transmitted from human to human.
In our sports report today, let's go back to UNMC, where the frontline scientists have a new uniform. The uniform that scientists like Pete Iwan wear helps them in their battle against the flu virus. Not all of us need to wear a biosafety suit to stay healthy.
The reason we're suiting up like this is because we're working with agents that have the potential to create aerosols, and we want to make sure that nothing gets into her respiratory tract that can cause infection. We also want to make sure that nothing gets on her clothes, so that when she leaves the facility and she goes like that with her clothes, she will breathe in the viral agents or the bacterial agents. I usually wet my hands first, get myself the soap, and rub the soap, and you have to make sure you get in here. Okay, that's the problem a lot of people have, is they don't get in here. And rub it very good, and you want it's the mechanism of rubbing that gets the organisms off your hands. Okay, and you should do this for about 10 to 15 seconds. Then you take your towels, and actually this is a process of removing anything that might be left over, is the towel itself. That's why I'm not a firm believer in these hand dryers, because I think this is also part of the process of cleaning. And then when you're all done, of course this is dirty, right? Shut it off with your paper towel.
Recapping our headline news. Influenza is an illness of the nose, throat, and lungs that is caused by an influenza virus. The flu can be passed from one person to another via mucus transfer from sneezing, coughing, and touching objects contaminated with the virus. A virus is a type of germ that can cause mild illness, such as the common cold or some other very serious diseases. Antibiotics do not work against viruses.
Working in public health really is make a difference. And that's what I'm all about. I'm not here to get rich. I'm not here to make myself famous. I'm here to do something that's going to help the public, and that's my job.
That's all for the Omaha Science News Virus Report. Thanks for joining us, and remember to be safe and healthy.